This is Diane Miller. You're currently watching the Just Kidding Around show. We're so glad you joined us. Each week, we introduce our home viewers to different artists in our community, and we like to teach the viewers different, what shall I say? Techniques. Yes, thank you so much for helping me out with that. And this week, we're welcoming an artist we've never had on before. You drove in from Tenino, is that right?
Yes, I live just outside of Tenino.
And this is Diane Vasarkovy. And I met Diane actually several years ago at the Art Walk in Olympia. Right.
It was quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So do you want to look in the camera, Diane, and give a shout out to somebody?
Yes, because I want this to be seen by my great-grandchildren, Xavier, Zayden, Christopher, and Leanna.
Wow. You don't look old enough to have great-grandchildren.
I started early.
Yes, there you go. And I'm just going to say hi to all the students at South Bay Elementary, especially Claire Bear and Liliana. I'll shout those two names out. I'm the school librarian at South Bay. So.
Yes, that's important.
Now, behind us, we opened on a picture of Primrose, is that right?
Yes.
And that was done in?
Oh, long time ago, maybe 5 years ago, 6
But
years
it was
ago.
done, it wasn't an oil, that is?
Oh, it's watercolor.
Okay, do you specialize in watercolor?
I like watercolor. The other things like oil seem to have too much stuff and stinky stuff, and you know, watercolor's easy. If you got water, you got paint, and a piece of paper, that's all it takes.
It's easier or cleaner?
Both.
Okay.
But some techniques can be harder because you have to plan ahead of time what's going to be white.
All right. Okay. Now, are you self-taught?
No, I had a wonderful teacher. Her name is Melody Cottingham, and I took classes with her for about 10 years.
And where does she live?
She lives here in Olympia. I don't know. I don't think she's teaching classes anymore.
Oh, we need to make sure she sees this show then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
It's Melanie or Melody?
Melody Cottingham.
Okay.
She's
Hello to Melody.
really great artist in her own right.
But maybe we can get her on sometime too.
That would be fabulous.
Okay, but now where did she teach these classes?
She taught them in her home. She was a professional artist, and at times she has worked other jobs in state government and stuff. But on the weekends, she would reset her whole house.
Oh my goodness.
Just take everything apart, set up with tables and places for us to do our work.
How fun.
And we would have some sort of exercise to do, and we would learn each of these techniques. And there's so many different one of them. So it's like playing. It's, wonder what'll happen if I put salt on this.
Salt? Are we going to put salt?
We're going to put salt. Yes, we've got salt.
Oh,
we've got water.
Oh, you are going to do
We've got all kinds of stuff.
I'm interested in your palette over there. I've had other artists on, but we've never had a palette like that.
Actually, I just cleaned it.
Oh, it's clean, but it's also so large and square. And is this exactly what it's designed for?
I like having other colors. There are artists who are purists who just have the primary colors and they like to mix their own. But I like to have more to mix from. I still mix my own.
Well, we've had people that use paper plates, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But this is actually a palette for watercolors.
Right.
And then on the outside, the home viewers probably can't see this, but you actually labeled. I like that.
Well,
you're kind of an organized lady, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to be, because some of these colors kind of look alike when they're just sitting there. And if I put a tube with a different name into that, I'm
never
wasting
seen that
paint.
done. Oh, somebody got a close-up. Thank you to the person that did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Carl or a robot.
So I always know what's in where.
Okay.
Because they have to be refreshed, and I refreshed a few colors just when I got here,
Goodness.
and I also spritzed water on it because it's watercolor.
So could we find a palette like this in any craft or hobby store? No big deal. And so is that specifically called a?
Watercolor palette.
Well, how come I've never seen one?
Well, if you go someplace like Michael's or Freddie's into the artist department, or even some of the school supplies departments, you'll have different, some of them are just small round things.
Yeah, there's a variety of palettes.
But it's after a while, I settled on what worked for me
Yeah.
because I couldn't resist all the colors. I wasn't just happy with 6 colors and then mixing my own. I had to have all
That's
these
way
wonderful
more than
colors.
6. How
Yeah,
many
I
colors
know.
do you have on that thing?
I don't know,
Let's
28
tilt
or
the
so.
cameras on it. Wait, we're tilting away from it. There it is. Must be camera 3 that's on. The cameras all have numbers on them.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
So sometimes
I
we
can
look
count
at
that
camera.
high.
So, well, thank you for being brave enough to come on our show and share all of this.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. I actually bought from Diane the most gorgeous cards. I have 8 of her cards at home. They're so beautiful, I will not use them. So
It's all right.
So I've had them for years. So
It's
I
all right.
called her, and they're a series of fall leaves that are so beautiful. I just love them.
Fall leaves are very easy.
Are they easy? Don't take away from your
Well,
talent.
no, but
I don't think they
they're-
look easy.
they're
I think-
easy and quick because what I do is I go out and gather leaves, like this leaf,
Okay.
and I trace around it, and I put the leaf away and I paint the colors I want in
You
it.
are taking the mystique away.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be.
You are
It's my art.
So is that what we're going to do today, fall leaves?
We're going to do fall leaf, and we're going to do a big sky,
Let's get started.
so you can see the sky
Can I get
techniques.
started?
You
I
betcha.
want to see how you're going to use this gigantic.
That's not the biggest one, but this is
I'm
good
thinking
for.
That doesn't look right. But.
This is good for large swaths.
Okay. Now, and before we start, is this step 1? If you're a beginner at home, you've never done watercolor, would this be a good project?
Yeah, because you
Okay.
can check. You can try a lot of techniques this way,
Okay.
and every painting is forgiving, and you can put it away. It doesn't have to be fabulous, but it's your experience of trying something.
Do you think for people that are perfectionists
Not watercolor.
or people that stress out easily?
Well, I think it's very, very calming. There's almost a meditative quality to it, and when I get into the flow, it just hours go by and I don't realize it.
Okay.
So it's the idea is it's an attitude choice. So I choose to be playful. I choose to not be expectant about the outcome, which is why I like the abstract painting style the best, because it doesn't have to actually look like something.
So maybe do you think before an artist sits down, maybe they should prepare their mind to be relaxed
Oh yeah,
and be flexible, and whatever comes out,
and not have
and not
interruptions.
like I would probably be, is this better look like the card I saw in the store?
Yeah,
or
right.
I'm going to be in trouble.
Well, every time I paint flowers or anything live, a living, I do the drawing and I put a little paint on it, and then I put the object away, because this is going to be my own interpretation of the object, and I want to give myself permission to do it however it feels good. And that's not, it doesn't come out like a photograph, and I don't expect it to.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? Okay.
Even if I'm doing nothing, I'm ready.
This is watercolor, so it starts with water. And I'm going to do what's called wet on wet. So I'm going to take and make a line that is going to be sort of like a hill, like a hill. So this painting is going to be mostly sky.
Okay.
So we're gonna just pour lots of water on there.
Any special kind of brush? That looks like
Any
a
kind of brush.
paintbrush.
It is a paintbrush.
But I mean like a house paintbrush.
Oh, but it's a fine brush. It's
Is
what do
that
we call it?
synthetic or something?
It's bristle.
Bristle.
And you can buy paintbrushes in all kinds of ridiculous furs and squirrels and chimpanzees and stuff, but
Personal preference?
personal preference. You know, I experiment with them. In my early days, I would buy, every brush known to mankind, and it didn't necessarily work for me. So I'm getting a lot of water on here because I'm going to lay in colors, and I want you to help me by hanging on to the salt. Because I'm going to pretend this is the sky. I'm going to start at the top with some darker colors and work down to lighter colors. So I'm going to start with an ultraviolet blue, ultraviolet, which is a violet-based blue. And you can see it often in the parts of the sky that are really dark. And I might even throw a little gray in there, just to put it in. Now I want you to take the salt and sprinkle some salt in there.
Uniformly or wherever?
Just kind of a little bit over there, up the top. Perfect. That's enough. You did good. You're an artist. Now let me try a little, just a tad of a purple.
I love that palette that in the middle.
It's a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, it gives you more space to work with.
And the idea of sky is that sky is never a single color. It's always a lot of different colors. And you let the water take the paint where it's going to go, and that means I'm a hint of rose, maybe a hint of rose. Okay, and now let's call ourselves down to the end, to where the land would start. Now we want clouds, and I'm going to be working quickly. Where's my cloud? Here it is. It's a Kleenex.
So technique one is salt.
Salt. Next technique is Kleenex.
Is Kleenex.
Or tissue if we're not.
These are inexpensive things.
Yeah, so the idea is we want some clouds in here.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do to do that is take away.
Oh my gosh.
So you take, while it's still wet, you take away some of the paint, and that leaves the coolest clouds you ever did see.
Very soft, very cloud-like.
Soft, and they can be here on top of the hill. Later on, we may add a little bit of...
So what's the salt doing, though?
The salt, which we're going to take off in a little while.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Keep going.
You can see that it's absorbing the
paint.
The paint.
I'm seeing that.
And when you look at the abstract one we have back there, you can see, after I scrape the salt off, what it looks like.
All right.
So I will also put a smidgen of water.
You're doing all kinds of techniques.
Let's see if it works. Okay. You can get kind of an immediate effect with water, and that gives you more of a loose.
Give me some of those things so they can get a better picture of your painting if you want.
These things?
Oh, yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Is that all right, Carl? Thanks.
So already I have something that is starting to look like a sky, right?
Beautiful.
Then all I have to do is, if I'm okay, if I'm dry down here, I take some kind of a greenish, brownish, I'm going to use something called undersea green and something called burnt umber. And that's going to, I'm going to kind of make a landscapey looking, we have to have some ground.
Are you going to do the whole painting with one brush?
Sometimes.
Okay.
You want little, I can do little too.
And this is taped on something.
And this is watercolor paper, 140-pound cold press.
Okay, we forgot that.
Taped to a foam board just to have something.
Well, I like this tape here, so when you take it off, the ends are going to be nice and clear.
The ends are going to be nice and clean. So
nice and clean.
I like to kind of get some different colors in there when I'm working not quite so wet. And you just see how forgiving it is. And like Bob, what is his name? Bob Ross? There'll be some happy little trees.
Actually, who's Bob Ross?
You don't remember Bob Ross?
He was
this cool guy. I used to come home from school to see him. He was
Bob
so
Ross?
sweet. Ross, R-O-S-S. He had a television show.
Oh, really?
And he painted the coolest little things, and he would always find a place for what he called a happy little tree in his paintings. So now I want to take a little bit of green and do a happy little tree or some shrubs or whatever it is.
What do you do with your paintings normally?
I give them away.
Okay.
I used to sell them, and then all of a sudden it became not about selling, but about doing the art. This is what I love, is the doing of the art. And then we might use another kind of a brush to do
I like
grasses.
that.
This is called a fan brush, and this is called
Sounds like a makeup brush.
some kind of a clipped, I don't remember the name of this, but you create a clipping, a clipped out brush, and with that you can do grasses and stuff that looks like grass.
Oh my, that is odd. Can I have that brush?
Sure. You like
So,
that?
I was going to hold out in front of the camera, but they're off. It's all right. Keep painting. I'll find a way to work it in. I'll stick it. Oh, there. That's
Or
just
you
a
cool
cool brush. I've
you
never
know-
seen a brush like that.
There are all kinds of ways which, as you work with these things, you discover. So I got a piece of sponge one day, and I said, okay, I need something dark to put down here.
Very unique.
And so I'll just take the sponge and,
I hate to tell you this, we only have 10 more minutes.
okay, so there's our finished painting.
Oh, are we done?
We're done.
Keep going. Keep working.
But you wanted your autumn leaf.
Oh, yes. Are you
Okay.
going to do my autumn leaf?
Yes, I'm going to do your
Oh.
autumn. Would I not do your
Okay, so
autumn
she would have
leaf?
kept working on this. She taught us 3 techniques. One was the salt. Maybe we'll come back to this, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and we'll show them what happened to the salt. And she showed us to make clouds, you just dab that Kleenex on it. How beautiful. And that tree, and this I love. So, but yeah, show me the autumn leaf.
Okay,
I want to see how you do this.
here you have a leaf
All right.
from the tree right outside here.
Uh-huh.
You put it down and you trace around it.
Oh, you went out and got that leaf
I went out and
after
got that-
whined
yes.
About, oh, man.
You know, you felt so bad about
I
forgetting
felt
the
so
thing.
bad. So you're going to make it happen.
So when I was holding the leaf down,
Uh-huh.
I already got a little bit of color that came out of the leaf.
Okay, so it's pencil.
It's pencil.
I don't think you can see it, but that's all right. She just took a leaf that she just got outside. I'm surprised you could find a fall leaf this time of year.
Well, this is a maple. Maples are always like this.
Okay.
Oh, this kind of maple anyway. But I don't like the just plain purple ones. I like for there to be more color. So I'm going to do some wetness down these.
Just on the leaf that
The leaf that I'm going to work on.
not outside of that tracing.
Right. And I'm going to take the end of the brush and I'm going to make a line that simulates the stem or the line through it. And then I'm going to try some other colors. So maybe I put a little bit of this in there and a little bit of gold somewhere.
You can manipulate the camera now, slide. Okay. What do you want me to do?
The thing I like about autumn leaves is that they're always flawed in some way. And sometimes they have little things, little bugs have eaten out of them and stuff. So I might put some of these.
You know, I don't know
Things
why I
in
never
there.
thought of tracing something. I always thought you have to draw everything.
It doesn't have to be
Keep
hard.
going. We're down to 7 minutes.
It
I wanna
doesn't have to
believe-
be hard.
I think I have a way of making things hard or thinking
Some
they're
people
hard.
do.
I do that with a lot of things. I
Some people do.
complicate them.
And sometimes you can just take like a little piece of a little bit of black and make like a hole in there or another, you know, little thing like that. That is, so now your job is to blow.
I'll do that. Keep painting. I'd love to see this done in 7 minutes.
It's the artist's secret is that sometimes it doesn't take us very long at all.
This is all you
we
did
want
on
it to
those,
appear
on those
hard.
cards that you sold at the art walk? That's all you did?
yes.
I'm going home and looking at them again.
There you go.
I'm not sure that you did. This is going to be the way I will start watercoloring, by tracing
Yes,
and making leaves.
because it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah, because leaves are such beautiful,
And they're beautiful, and every year there's a new
colors.
crop. Every year there's a new crop,
Uh-huh.
and it can look beautiful or it can look different. I like different. So this
What a
leaf,
great thing for children to do. So that I know a lot of kids feel
Yeah.
like me. They think things have to be just a certain way.
and you have to
or it's
color between the
wrong.
lines. Hello,
Uh-huh,
this needs
uh-huh.
a little bit of brown too, because this is starting to turn. So it's kind of like, and then I take, because these, these leaves are sawtooth. It's hard to see.
Oh, yes, they are.
But they're sawtooth. So we can take a little, let's see, a little brown and maybe a little reddish like this. And we can make,
Okay, so you're going over the line that you traced and you're giving it more texture.
and I'm giving it more texture.
it.
And then we can
with
take,
a very fine brush.
we can take some water though also and soften that out. You see
So
how
you
that
work
gets
with
softer?
it.
Yeah, you walk with it and not having any expectations about how it's exactly supposed to be when you're done makes it a lot easier, because then it's a surprise. Oh, look how that turned out, and look at that. Look at that. Okay, I like that. And maybe it has a little problem in there. Now I am sounding like
Yeah,
Bob
like me.
Ross from television.
Oh, is he that way?
Well, his dialogue was always to relax people, and he would say, well, maybe a little tree lives there, maybe there should be a cloud over here. And he was real, trying to put us at our ease. And I just thought he was a lot of fun, and he'll be missed. But
Are you going to do these other leaves?
yeah, the other petals. So
Petals.
we get some of these going. So you see how the outside happens. And maybe this one is still, we're going from green towards, maybe on this one we're going from green towards brown. So let's get a little more green. Whoops. And you see how the black just shows through.
Zoomed in as it goes.
Because nothing is ever one color. And so you kind of muddy them together down here, and at some
Have
point.
you ever gone to the East Coast where there's really beautiful leaves?
I grew up in the East Coast, and
Okay.
our fall vacations were in New England. Oh, God. Talk about just heart-stopping color. Just marvelous. And you can, it doesn't have to look exactly like a leaf. The idea is that it kind of feels like a leaf. It has some of these
So
things
you're going over
sticking
the
up.
edges now to make it more.
Going over the edges to make it a little more.
And then how long would
leafy.
you work with that leaf?
Oh, not
just
long.
not long?
I don't have much patience.
And then you would put that probably just a single leaf on your stationery or on your cards?
Yes, I've taken these as originals down to the copy store and got cardstock copy paper and put the originals down, and
What a wonderful gift.
you just run the.
Oh my
I make my
gosh.
own Christmas cards every year, so people kind of look forward to that, and that feels good. And it's like $20 to get them done.
And they're one of a kind, and people think of all your cards that have been saved or hanging
Yes,
on.
and some people I know wanted to make one of them into a wine bottle label, and so
Oh.
it's crazy. So all kinds of things happen.
Can you even
And
do the
yes,
stem?
Yes, I can. You
Sorry.
pointed that
I'm
to me
watching
before.
the clock.
Yes, thank goodness you are, because I'm not.
Am I a control freak or something?
Hey,
Not
well,
always.
Don't you have to be
sometimes.
that?
Yes.
And then sometimes you see there's this little bulb thing on the
Yeah,
end.
this little thing.
Little thing like that. Yeah. So that becomes.
Do you think an artist looks at things in ways that, I mean, think of the people that walked by this leaf and didn't even look at it, see it.
All my life I've collected fall leaves. When
Then what do you do with them?
well, It was funny, when I used to work in state government, I would take walks at lunchtime, and in the fall, I always came back with a handful of leaves. And I would say, there's free art out there on the street. And I would leave a little bit at everybody's desk. And when I retired, it was fall.
And they gave you a bucket of leaves.
They had this big thing of leaves, and they poured it all over me.
All over your desk, like, oh, how funny.
So it's, you know,
That is gorgeous.
it's a leaf.
That's how you do it, huh?
Yep.
You know, and
just
you did that
relax.
whole thing in less than 10 minutes, I think. So we really didn't finish this, but I am now seeing what that salt did.
Can you
I
see what
that
the salt
technique.
did?
It absorbed the paint.
Yeah, and then when it dries and you push the salt away, you kind of brush the salt away with your hand, then it leaves these marvelous...
Is it dry now? May I do that or
You
not?
could, yeah, try. I'm not sure it's dry enough.
No, it's not dry enough. It's
But
dry
if you look at this one back here,
oh, that's
that was
what
all
that
done
was.
with salt. So
That's
it's another way to take away paint.
Yeah.
Because in watercolor, to make white, you take it away.
Well, you know what, kiddo? They are looking at your painting. I'm going to hold up. This is a leaf that she did on our show. I'm not sure which camera's on. I should know. Oh, Carl's camera's on. So she just did that. Oh, I think they took a picture of that.
Yay! Get
So-
started on my fall collection.
We're getting countdown on the clock.
Okay.
So I'm going to thank you so much for coming, and you shared about 4 different techniques. Boom, boom, boom.
You're so welcome. And it's just
Yeah.
fun. And the idea is to have fun because art is what you express.
Okay.
Art is my creation.
And if you're a grandma or great-grandma, how about doing art with the kids instead of
Oh.
buying technology for them?
Gosh, yes.
I know it. Everybody feels
Yes.
guilty if their kids don't have all this technology. This is what they need. Anyway, we want to thank Freddie Dobler for directing this show. I'm not sure he's directed one of our shows before. Thanks, Freddie. Thanks to Carl Bond for running camera. Thanks, John Amos, for doing sound. Thank you, Lori, for doing all your hard work on the credits. So, and of course, a big thank you to you and sharing.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, you're a lot of fun.
Good name.
Bye.